actually enjoy treating your customers like a piece of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too f***ing dark in that place for me to find my seat, alright? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my f***ing seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, the United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing on my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys obviously were being assholes to me, and I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money.
Deadass. Serious. I would hate me too. Look at me. Think he the shit. This nigga don't even crease his Air Forces. What the f? Shut the fuck up. You lying.
Mark of the Werebeard.
Just a humble guy trying to cut some hair, and now there's monsters everywhere. But you made me forget about that.
You have a date when your mom could be slowly turned into a werebeard as we speak.
You said it could take a while for the transformation to be complete, and the results won't be back for a couple days. So, what's the harm in taking a few hours out to grab some dinner?
I am the new Elderbeard, and I'll raise the earth with a new breed of werebeard. And together, we'll conquer. Jack! Stacy? Stacy!
Elderbeard. Be out.
Coming soon.
Phenom Radio is the home of the hottest indie music. Tune into the Phenom Radio Top 20 Countdown, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Raise a sharp hustle, raise your paws hustle, when the sun...
So many times I played the fool, man, held below. I'm too fly to be sitting here lonely, feeling for the ride, wanna put it on me. Pittsburgh. When you get inside and when I grind it, I can't deny it, feels so exciting, deeper. Is no restart.
A better job, a better home, a better life. Who hasn't wished for these things, worked for them, and sought a place where they had a better chance of becoming real? For generations, Brockton has welcomed those seeking something better. From those who came in search of opportunity to today's multicultural population that makes us the most diverse community in all of New England. Brockton is a place where homes are more affordable, communities closer, where a strong and talented workforce fuels the success of businesses big and small, and the vision of a more diverse and equitable America is being realized every day. It's where ideas take root, businesses grow, communities thrive, new beginnings unfold, and the promise of a better life is kept. Brockton, Massachusetts, where better begins.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. Oh no, oh, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Ooh, 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 yeah.
know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection.
Want to get out of here?
To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
This is Black C representing Green Life Music Group. You're now listening to The Booth on hoobazoo.com. Get with it with my homie Sinister. Get green!
It's caught in the crossfire.
Daddy, how long has it been since the Cowboys won the Super Bowl?
Longest for the longest time. Longest for the longest. There's no Dallas Cowboy fans in sight. Are y'all still them boys after tonight? Green Bay destroyed you. No championship for you. That hasn't happened for the longest time. So much has happened since you won your last. Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, trash. Lost in the wild card. Green Bay just stood on your star. You haven't won it for the longest time. Maybe this won't last very long. You said you'd win this year, but you were wrong. Dak Prescott let down CeeDee Lamb. He's the interception man, and that's all that he's known for.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
You like some motherfucking action heroes in it. Yeah.
This is destiny. This is madness. This is a proof.
Step into the twisted mind of my literature, designed to get into the depths of your mind, administer sickness around to mimic the likes of snuff cinema. What you must give into, you're nothing but pops. Remember you Homer and Happy Simpson, son. Nothing Ithaca. Talkers like the northern half of Korea's peninsula. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister.
Alright, it's your boy Sinista1 broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is January 16th, 2024. Let me get into my sponsors. Let me get into thanking my people from last week. Let me get into thanking all you people in the chat all ready for this show as we've gone live. What's up, Billy Atwood? What's up, Dougie? What's up, Joanna? My guest is up in the upper left-hand corner, but I got to give a big thanks to all my supporters from last week and my guest, Richard Ripley, who's on the show last week. I actually got to read Let me pull this up. My guest was here last week to talk about the Bat Bus situation, and I had a gentleman reach out to me, John Troxel. And before I get into my sponsors, I got to read this because Bat Bus Union has released a statement in regards to Richard Ripley being on this show. And here it is right here, this statement right here. I got to read this for you guys. Let me just pull this up on my phone. This is from John Troxel. He is the Bat Bus president from the union. And he says, this is their statement, official statement. The Bat Bus Union has worked with the mayor, the administration, and management, which is the Bat Bus management, and has made policy and disciplinary procedures in place to address Mr. Ripley's concerns. Safety is a number one concern for the union, the company, and the city, and we take this matter very seriously. It is our number one priority to transport the general public in a safe manner. We even worked with the company during the pandemic to alter the schedule to a 30-minute pulse. So that means drivers actually have more time to take and make the connection in lowering cases of accidents and incidents. In a move to make the system safer and make sure connections were on time, we strive to make this a safe transit system and work hard hand in hand with the company and administration with continued training and in-service meetings to stress these issues. And that's it. They are responding to some of these things that Mr. Ripley had accused them of last week and saying that they had not. And, I spoke with Mr. Ripley and I said, when they told you that a driver was disciplined, that's all they need to tell you. No more than that. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. The rest is protected as if you have any issues, bring them up further, but they addressed it and answered it. Now, getting into my sponsors, Michael Douglas Barretto, MDB Electronics. If you have an Xbox controller, it's drifting, it's all over the place, send it out to my man. You're back to gaming in 24, 48 hours. And like I said, the best part about it is he puts a little hologram sticker inside. If it drifts or does something wrong again, you ship it back out to him. Lifetime warranty. He fixes it, sends it back, no charge. And he does a damn good job. My dog chewed up a controller that was a special controller. He fixed it, sent it back. So it's good stuff. My artist, Viana Marie, her music is streaming everywhere. 494,000 streams for her library right now. Please get out there, get on her social media, get out there and push her up. Let's get her to 500,000 streams for Viana Marie. Tactical Target Systems. Those are those targets you see me when I'm at the range, blowing off some steam. Those are the nice, big, life-size targets. Those are real good, nice. Reach out to them, Tactical Target Systems. I love Boston sports. We're a little bit in mourning right now up here in Boston. So you want to reach out to I Love Boston Sports and get yourself those Bill Belichick hoodies that they had out there, if they're not already gone. Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you're trying to get yourself photographed in a safe setting, a comfortable setting, and take some pictures for your loved one or somebody special, Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. My artist, Viana Marie, is there pictured on the left-hand side. Underwatch Protective Services, mobile patrols, foot patrols, armed guards, unarmed guards, event security, private security. Reach out to Daryl Smith, Underwatch Protective Services, a new sponsor for the booth for 2024. Now, before I get into my news booth, there's my new graphic. I got my guest up in the left-hand corner. And I got to thank somebody, very special person. She almost brought me to tears. She's fighting the fight. I'm hoping that she'll be able to tune in and watch this. Cindershare. I'm almost getting teared up again. I got to stop. But the lady's got a heart of a warrior, strength of a warrior. She actually came on this show, spent pretty much almost an entire hour on this show. And when we got done, she had so much fun. She says, I got somebody you got to talk to. You guys would hit it off. It'd be a great interview. You got to get him on the show. She said, this kid, Nick, you got to reach out, I said, okay, yeah, sure. And everybody always tells me all this stuff. But when she talked to me, I listen because I know that anybody that's messing with her is good people. So up in the upper left-hand corner is my man Nick Phelps, also known as Mr. Phelps. What's going on, son?
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. And yeah, Cinder's good people. Cinder's really good people.
And how'd you guys meet? How'd you guys meet up? She said you guys did a track together too.
Hey, so we actually have an album coming out on January 26th. We have a whole album coming out together.
Get out.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like a hip hop and pop album. And we met because I was a sync mentor in this class called 6FS, which is no longer, but there's a bunch of people who that's how I got like in the sync world. Kathy Heller was a big person who got me into the sync world, and I was a mentor. I wasn't her mentor, but she would come to me, and we started writing songs together. And it was funny because I got the message from her, and she was like, "Hey, I got an idea for a hip hop track." And I tell her this. I call her OG Cinder because I was like, you have no idea when I got in my inbox from this old white lady. And I got an idea for a hip hop track. I was like, who is this? What? And then she like showed me the idea, and I was like, this is actually dope. And then the rest is history. We started writing together. Our first song, which actually got three great placements. It's called Great Great Great. That was the first song we did together, and then we just kept writing together ever since. And now we have an album coming out.
Nice. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for it and check it out because Cinder's be crazy. She's on here doing her thing, bro.
Doing her thing.
It's insane, and I love it. I love the fact that she's taking her health problems, looking it dead in the face, and every day she's just giving it the big F you. I'm here another day. F you. I'm here another day. F you. I'm here another day. F you. And I love that. And it's funny because you see people on Facebook and other social media complaining about, the little things, and I'm like, here's this person here, she doesn't know where her life is going to be each day. And, here she is, she's doing it, and I love that. I love the fact that she's fighting this fight. And like I said, I see people complaining about stuff every day. And I'm like, man, y'all have no idea, because I don't know how I would deal with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That's why her life is inspiring, and the mindset she has, which encouraged me. And then I would also encourage her through some things. And that's how we really clicked. And that's like my whole motto as well, is like, yo, tomorrow is not promised. Like, we really got to take that to heart. Like, all we literally have is today. So, and that's why I prioritize things like that. And that's why I actually named the whole umbrella of my business is Music and Life Mindset. Because we got to do life to do the music, and you got to live life, and that's what fuels the music, at least for me. And then vice versa, the music fuels my life. So it's like this great balance that I have.
And so let's get on the topic, because you're talking about Alana. What's going on? I see Alana Healy in the chat. Hello, Alana, for tuning into the booth tonight. Let's get into this sync licensing, because I've really been wanting to talk with somebody who was really deep in it. Somebody who's really finding some success. I actually had another singer on this show. She was telling me about the sync licensing also. And I believe your name also came up during that conversation between her and I. And we were talking, and one of the things is, like, I manage an artist, Vianna Marie. And, for me, part of this music business thing is the politics, the crab in the barrel mentality, the stories you hear now about, like, DJ Envy and all these DJs who still are the gatekeepers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've been dealing in this music industry, you know, with her on the business level for close to 8 years. I've been a fan of music and followed local music here for forever, to the point where a guy like Guru couldn't get no recognition here in Boston. And he had to go to he had to go to New York and get his shine on. Out here right now, a great example is we've got Millie's, a rapper, white rapper out of Cambridge, and we've got Joyner Lucas out of Worcester. You know, we've got this crab in the barrel mentality where these two people are very successful, but they get all types of hate from the local scene here. Records don't get pushed and things of that sort. I've been watching this sync licensing for about 4 or 5 years now, and it started, to be honest, the funniest way I'll let you know how I got into following sync licensing was Madden NFL and NBA 2K, because that was kind of where people started getting their music into these games. And you would ask, you say, "Yo, how'd you get your?" "Oh man, I got a sync license, or I got a hookup for sync." I'm like, "What is this sync licensing?" Like, yeah, man, they shop your music, and you can end up on TV. You can end up. So you've been doing this. Cinder has been talking about it. Sonnet Simmons, who's the one that mentioned you also, she talked about, you know, how this has actually changed and actually has taken some stress off of her in regards to kind of keeping some money coming in. So let's kind of talk about this sync licensing, and I'm just gonna let you guys know a funny story about sync licensing. A good friend of mine, Michael Fiore, who was a roadie for Guns N' Roses, he did some stuff for background music for Love and Hip Hop and things of that sort, but he was still a struggling artist. He decided to submit his name and music to all of these movie production companies, because he went to a movie one time and said, "Let me start writing down these names." He started writing down all these movie production companies. He got a letter one day and said, "Hey, we want the rights to your music for our film." They didn't tell him what the film was. They didn't tell him what they wanted. The film ended up being Transformers, the first Transformers film. His music got in there. Until this day, he's collecting the paycheck from that Transformers movie. That right there is sync licensing in the early beginning. So I'm going to let you talk about it, because you're in it, you're experiencing it, and why more artists, you know, instead of trying to push their music and trying to pay promoters all this money for shows, why should they be pushing sync licensing as a way to offset?
Yeah, sync license is a beautiful thing, because I started off as an artist, and I have 4 kids. I've been married for 18 years, and going and doing shows, it got tiring, and I wanted to see my family. So that was the beautiful thing about sync licensing, was it allowed me to create from home and then collaborate with other people around the world and shop into different libraries and then get our music placed. So in the way I got into it, as I mentioned in the first part, was through a program called 6FS, Six Figure Songwriting. I call her OG Sonic, because she was actually one of the ones who actually got me into sync licensing, because she was with Kathy Heller. So I call her like a mentor as well. And sync licensing it's great. It's definitely, it's all about collaborating. It's all about finding the right group. Like, there's so much information on it. And once you get your foot in the door and collaborate with the right people, it is a game of relationships and longevity. I mean, it is a marathon. Like, you're not just gonna jump in here and then it happens. I mean, it does happen. There are some great stories that happen. I remember when I first got into it, I got my first sync placement within 4 months, and that was through Kathy Heller and her program. So it is a beautiful thing. That's why more people should get into it, because you kind of take back your rights, your time, and you don't have to play the game so much of the industry, where, like you said, it is crabs in a barrel, where as sad as it is, you're not going to get, unless you have the contacts as the bigger artists and stuff, you're not going to get the same love that you're going to receive as them. So sync licensing, it's a beautiful door to walk into. I've gotten lots of placements on lots of great networks: CW, HBO Max, BET, VH1, MTV, Adobe, Nordstrom Rack. One of the biggest ones was the Big George Foreman movie. That was an awesome, amazing placement that happened.
I saw that on your
So
site. I saw that on your website.
yes,
Yeah, I was going to
and that
ask you about
was
that.
yeah. And the cool thing about sync licensing is you get to, for me, what I love about it, you get to utilize more of you. You can't be boxed in. So, for instance, I have songs that got placed that I was just the writer on. I have songs that got placed for the Big George Foreman. I was just the producer. I was not the artist or the writer. I just produced, helped co-produce the track, mixed, mastered it, and my name was in the credits. And so you get to utilize all of you. You get to um, write about different things rather than just love songs and club songs and trap songs. You get to write upbeat song, whatever you can think
Outside the
of.
box, so you can be outside the box and start doing stuff like that. And I like it because I'm seeing some of this, these sync licensing stories, and some of the things I like seeing is this placement. Like I said, I remember watching CW, and I remember being a big fan of Smallville. And at that time, Smallville was taking music from unsigned artists, and they were placing it in Smallville as a way to save money, because CW had just started up. Smallville was a new show on CW, so they were trying to save money all these crazy ways. And when you go back and you look at that Smallville soundtrack and the music that was on there of unsigned artists, you've got some people who ended up linking up with Timbaland. You got people who ended up becoming big stars. Carmen and Camille, who've been on this show. Carmen and Camille came here from Canada. They were visiting me, and I actually mentioned to them about, hey, you got to get your music on some of this stuff. They're taking all these unsigned artists, and all of a sudden, guess what? They blow up because they get their music on the hills, on MTV. Some of that background music you hear. I also feel like sync licensing success is also due to the amount of streaming sites, because we have so many streaming sites now. There's so much programming being made out there. Everybody's got a streaming site. All these, there's an all black network now that's competing against BET. They're putting out their own movies and stuff. Talk about how you probably have seen this explosion for the need for sync licensing music because of all these streaming sites developing their own movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's tons of room in sync licensing. Like, there's been sync licensing is getting heard of a lot more, and so a lot of people think that it's getting saturated. But in my opinion, it's not, because, like you said, there's so much streaming sites, so many networks, and it goes. I mean, you also got podcasts, you got different things where your music can be licensed to. You got sports, you got arenas. So there's sync licensing. It goes beyond just film and TV as well. But yeah, there's so much room in this world. And my songs, I mean, I'm very grateful, because it is like a miracle, because there is so many people. But as long as you work with the right people, have a very great sound, and I mean mixed and master wise. Yeah, I just had 8 placements on Roku. Roku had a show called The Next Black Millionaire. And the agency that I work with called Atrium Atrium Music. Yeah, 8 of my songs got into this show on Roku, The Next Black Millionaire. And so I do believe I'm be the next black millionaire now.
And what's good about this, some people are watching, and Patricia, thank you for joining the show. One of the things about that for you, like a show, your music could be in a show or a season that could be one and done. The thing here for you is that you don't care, because your resume is getting stacked. Your resume is getting. It don't matter if a show was one and done. You're still on that resume. That's still on your resume.
Exactly.
The more shows you get.
And not only that, you still get royalties from it. And sometimes it's not a lot, but you still get royalties. But exactly, the resume. And because the resume grows, you're able to speak more into this arena. And then you get more eyes on you. And that's why I launched my music and life mindset business. I mean, people started to notice me for producing, writing, rapping. So I would get hired to write raps. I would get hired I got more jobs for producing. I got more jobs for mentorships, and then I started a course. Make that. Can we curse on here or no? Because the name of
You
my or
can, you can.
I'll just make that ish modern as the name of my course.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
make that ish modern. And I got tons of people from all over the world who signed up for my course where I was able to speak to them about sync licensing, but also how I go about producing music. And then the umbrella of my business is music and life mindset. So I was also able to talk about how I balance family life while doing sync licensing, while producing music for tons of people, writing, building relationships. So the resume definitely helps when you start to get into sync licensing. You're looked at as like, okay, this person is his work. If your work is good enough to make it on the film, you must be doing something right. So,
So I'm gonna break it down for you. So I like to put people kind of a little bit on the spot with a question. So I'm gonna ask you this question about, you know, a lot about sync licensing, and you know how it is. You know, let's set the scene. We're in the barber shop. We're all in the barber shop, sitting here at the barber shop. Everybody's getting their cut. The discussion sometimes always gets real nice. Let's say we got this one dude in there. He's a rapper, you know, and he's in there talking about doing his shows and making his money. And then someone talks about someone saying, well, you know, this dude got his song in 2K. And he got all this off of 2K. And the rappers, you know how a rapper will be like, oh, but that don't do no this. How do you tell that rapper that, yo, sync license is nothing to really sleep on? Because one of the things I hate is that we've done shows, we promoted shows, we've had events where they paid us up to $2,000 to perform, but you got to play family friendly music. In other words, you got to, and you know how many times we reach out to artists and they don't have family friendly music or that type of music. So let's talk about the importance of having that music for family friendly and sync licensing type music to be put into TV shows on Nickelodeon. Talk about how you would tell this person that, man, you really got to think better, think more out the box.
well, it goes back to the longevity as well, because you want to expand yourself, which is what sync licensing did for me, because I started to think differently once I was like, oh snap, I can rap about all these different themes and show my side in this, rapping about overcoming, rapping about um, celebrating. Like there's different topics you could pick rather than just the same old stuff that's on the radio is only going to get you so far, and everything sounds the same. So clean hip hop, oh man, they eat it up. They eat it up. If you can say which is what I am. I'm an artist who does clean hip hop. So my music gets called upon a lot. And then different agencies, they know what I do because my name gets around. Nick does clean hip hop. Mr. Phelps does clean hip hop. So then I get custom briefs because they know I'm going to create a track for clean hip hop. And rather than me waiting around for fans for me to go perform and, build fan base that way, I build a fan base through people Shazamming my music. Or now my presence on social media, because now I'm sharing, yo, I just got a placement over here. And now people are like, oh, snap. So then they start to see my presence on social media. And then beautiful thing about that is you get to share a more well-rounded view of yourself as well. So now that people are coming to look for me, I'm able to share. I love to share the whole journey. I share the whole journey because I love to keep it real about all this stuff. And then you build a following. And then when they see that you're great at one thing, people want to invest in you more. And now they want to see what else you're going to do. Like I wrote a book, and my friends, my fan base, they want to read my book about my faith journey as well, because it's intriguing to people once you start to build that fan base through sync licensing and you're sharing other things beyond just sync licensing, because I love to motivate and help people to get ahead. It's not just crabs in a barrel for me. It's like, yo, I want to help you think beyond just going to do shows for clout. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but there is a part of you want the fame, just the fame, or you want to also think business wise and get, this bag over here for your family as well, rather than, the same old thing, just going to go perform live all the time. And, so it doesn't, yeah.
See, and that's what I love about the beauty of sync licensing is because you can spend your time with your family and you can multitask. You know what I'm saying? And you could have a virtual sync license library of music that could be sitting in your drive for years, and then one day that somebody likes that track, boom, a track that you thought was never gonna move, all of a sudden it moves. And like I said, video games has been another big one with the sync licensing. Everybody waits for that Madden to come out every year to see what the tracks are going to be on Madden. Joyner Lucas early on. Joyner Lucas was on Madden and people was clowning him. And that all still, you got millions of people playing Madden and hearing that Joyner Lucas track and like, whoa, who's this? And one of the things that I love is, when I go and check my artist analytics, is I like seeing those Shazam stats. Because for me, I feel like if somebody's taking the time to pull out their phone and put it up to the speaker and find out who that artist's music is, that means that track's a banger. That's a track to keep. That's how I feel. That means that track's a track to keep your eye on, because you're making someone do something to find out what that track is. Everybody can click a stream and just put it on, and then you get those streams. That's good. But for me, I feel like that Shazam number is a good number to have. I use it myself. I don't know how many times I'm in the supermarket, and now supermarkets are taking in that sync licensing when you're in the store shopping, and that music that you're hearing in the store.
I'm Shazamming all the time. Seriously, I hear a commercial, I'm Shazamming, because that's research for me. Watching TV, I'm with my wife. It's hilarious because when I'm in the store, I hear it. I'm like, hold on, and I'll sit there. I'm like, I gotta Shazam this. So I use Shazam all the time. And the sync community as well the sync community is there's so many helpful people within the sync community when you get in the right communities. Like there's Eric Campbell, Control Camp. If you look him up, he's given so much knowledge. You had Sonnet on, 2Indie, they're giving so much knowledge. What Up Pitches, they're giving so much knowledge. Like, for goodness sake, like all these people are giving knowledge about the sync world, and everybody's working together. It's like when one person gets pulled up, we're like reaching back, like, yo, come right on this song with me. It's an awesome community, and it's an awesome feeling to know you're not doing it alone.
I'm actually a fan. I actually have a sync licensing company I'm a fanboy of from early on. And the name of the producers are Pitch Hammer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pitch Hammer.
I'm not familiar with that.
When I say it, you'll know it though. Pitch Hammer. Their music is sync licensed for when you watch these sport highlights or some of these movie trailers. Some of these really in-your-face cinematic trailers are done by Pitch Hammer. There was a movie. Pitch Hammer did this remix of Rush's Tom Sawyer for this film. And I forget the film. It was about everybody in the virtual reality. I forget the name of the film. But in that trailer, it was a Pitch Hammer track. There was a Batman film, Pitch Hammer. Most of the NFL highlights with this music in the background, Pitch Hammer. And I started looking them up, and I'm like, who the hell does this music? And it turned out that it was Pitch Hammer. They're so funny. It's so funny because Julian Edelman had mentioned their music one time about, man, they get me going. He's like, I got their music in my workout. So Pitch Hammer, if you guys are ever interested in finding a library of somebody who does licensing music like that, Pitch Hammer is crazy. I've used Pitch Hammer's stuff on this show just for my bumps, for my intros and outros. They do some crazy stuff. Mateen, what's going on? I see you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in, man. So it's great to have you on here. It's great to talk about. Now I wanted to talk to you about TikTok, which sync licensing is a big part of social media now because a lot of the royalty-free music that's being given with other music, licensed music that they're also using, but there's also that free music, royalty-free sync licensing music. I have this love-hate relationship with TikTok right now because TikTok, first of all, I'm a DJ. Everybody knows I'm a DJ. I hate it. I hate TikTok because it destroyed DJing as we know it. You know, I used to have to do weddings are fine, but when you've got to do like a kids party or a field day or something, you know, you used to have 2 hours. You get your 2 hours of music together, and that's great. Unfortunately, now in this age of TikTok that we're living, everybody's music span interest of a song is like 30 seconds. A verse, a hook, and then you get out. And so now you're at you're DJing an event for these kids, and it's like, okay, it's blah, 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 the hook, and then you got to go into the day.
You gotta get out. It's funny, with TikTok, there's some songs that I heard on the radio. I was like, I didn't even know this was a real song. I thought this was just like on TikTok. So it's funny that you say that, because I get so used to the shorter version. I was like, there's more to this song.
And what's nice about TikTok too is I love, and this is what I love, the old songs that some of these kids are pulling up and making viral and making, like Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac just had an explosion of their song get back on the top 10 because of the skateboarding TikTok song. And everybody thought that was a new joint, and it wasn't. This song was old as hell, yet it brings life back to old songs to the point where you're like, oh, damn, okay, I can recreate these royalties. So it's some crazy stuff.
Awesome.
Now,
Fleetwood Mac always got a pass in the hood. I was bumping it.
So now you're involved with sync licensing, so you know about royalties and things of that sort, and owning your music rights. The big thing now that I see that I'm confused about. I understand why it's happening, but I'm confused. What is your opinion and thoughts on a lot of these young artists? I understand why the older artists are doing it, but Justin Bieber just recently did it. I forget who else, another young artist, selling their rights to their music. Lil Wayne just did it. What are your thoughts on all these young artists selling their libraries for millions and millions of dollars to these companies? And right now it's only really 2 companies. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, it's kind of, I can see both ways where you don't want to do it, but then I can also see where, like, if they wave the bag in front of you, it's like, yo, this is like 36 mil or 300 mil for the whole catalog. Why not? Speaking as a young artist, why not? I can make more music. But meanwhile, all of that, all the funds that they're going to be getting off your music, longevity wise, they're not thinking about, maybe they are, I don't know. Their family could have the rights to their music as well. But it's all going over here now. I can't help but think of the guy, what's his name? Campbell. No, is it Campbell? The Lion King story guy, where they were going to give him so much money up front to do the Lion King song, and then his mom negotiated like, nah, we're not doing it. We're going to get a percentage. We're not selling the whole master. And he still gets royalties from the Lion King. And sometimes it's hard to think like that in the moment, because, you're thinking like, I'm about to get this paper, and then I'm about to make some more songs, pay off debt. So if you're young and you do it, I think that they're looking at it in the way of, I'm about to get paid and I'm about to make more music. I got more time. But you just never know. Your family could be eating off that for a long time. So me personally,
it's weird.
I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation. I'm just being honest. I don't know. I would want to say that I would keep my masters, but if somebody was like, I'm gonna pay you $300 million for your whole catalog right now, I don't know what I would say. If they wave that in my face, I'm like, man, I could pay off my debt. I'll be set for life, and I could just keep making more music. So, I can't really judge them too much.
Yeah, it's weird, because I saw when Motley Crue sold all the rights to their music, and I'm like, but these guys all got kids and families. I'm like, they didn't want to pass none of that down to the families. I'm like, it's the weirdest thing. And then when Justin Bieber did it, I'm like, but you just got married. You're not thinking about having any kids. You just got married. And it was just so weird. It just seems like it seems like it's the in thing right now, you know, and they ain't wasting no time. When you hear these companies buy this music, boom. You know,
boom, it's out.
Super Bowl, the commercials are there. The commercials are already on it, you know?
That's a lot of upfront money that they're missing out on too. And it's kind of weird because they're still popular artists. That's what makes it really weird. Is like, yo, your songs are still like popular, but you got gatekeepers as well who, you know, they're gonna make them think that if, your music's not really gonna go unless we put it out. So I don't know the conversation, but
right.
yeah,
right.
if you don't think about you got to think about your future, your kids, so you can pass that on to them. I like owning my masters. I like controlling it. I like that I can pull it from certain libraries and then try other libraries out. That's a big thing in the sync world is, if they call it a one stop. Can I come to you to clear your music only? Can I come straight to you? For instance, real quick, just randomly, I got a an email one day, a Fortnite placement.
Shoot.
Yeah, the EA Games hit me up, was like, yo, we like this song Billionaire Status. Can we use it in Fortnite? I was like, is this real? And it turned out it was real. And they're like, can you clear it? I was like, yeah, I own everything. I wrote it, mixed it, mastered it, rapped it, 100% can clear it by me. And it was just the easiest process. Boom, boom, done. Yeah, didn't have to go through anybody. So it's a beautiful thing to own your masters. You never know what's going to happen. Or if somebody wants to rewrite it, you got to think of that as well. So it is an interesting thing.
People forget too, when Fortnite hit, a lot of people don't realize this. When Fortnite first hit the scene, the big viral story was that opening song when you're on the bus. Nobody knew who that band was, but everybody, once that Fortnite started getting popular, everybody wanted to know who that band was and what that song was. And before you knew it, that song was that band was a household name. It was like an overnight success. That again, that's that sync licensing. I remember Gears of War years ago. The game Gears of War came out, and Gears of War dropped their commercial. And there was this song. It was a real haunting song for that Gears of War trail. And I'll find the link and put it up. And I remember everybody's like, damn, what is that song? That song is crazy. And I remember the interview. The band had an interview on MTV. And they were like, yeah. We put the song out like 4 years ago. And nobody was feeling it.
That's the other thing. Like, you will get calls from songs that came out like 3 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, like, yo, we're using your song. And it's like, whoa, there's a song that I didn't even like the mix of, really. It was like, I was like, I can't get this mix right. But I got it to a place where I finally was like, I just got to send it out there. And that song got picked up by a few TV shows. And so you just never know what's going to happen in the sync world. You get that call 7 years later while you're in the line at Walmart. What's your song? So, it's an awesome thing to be a part of and to start getting your feet into and to start really finding out, how to maneuver in it. And there's so many resources once you start to want to get into that field. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of people who want to give you the knowledge.
Well, let's get into that, because I know I do have artists and people who tune in to watch this show. How can someone reach out to you and get your thoughts and opinions on sync? Like, if somebody's an artist and they're watching this show, how can they reach out to you and say, I need some advice?
Yeah, go to musicandlifemindset.com, and it's music and lifemindset.com, and you can reach me there, and I love to chat about it. Yeah, I have an academy as well, like-minded people that we share music and we talk about sync licensing. But yeah, and then I'm always sharing resources, other people to that know more information, that are willing to help. Like, I'm always just passing the knowledge around.
All right. You want to stay in and talk some topics with me?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. All right. So we got to thank him for coming on here first before I get into my topics. My man, Mr. Phelps. He's on here, and you know what you gotta do. Hey, do you have any music videos or any videos that you ever done?
You know what? I have one music video I done in my daughter's shop. Just music is out there though. Look up Mr. Phelps music. You'll find
I'd
me.
like to add one of your tracks to my my appetizer show. That's the music that rotates. So I try whenever I get a guest on, if they've got a video, I at least like to add at least one of their videos to my appetizer, so at least get some rotation. And again, like you said, if people see it, and they'd be like, okay, cool. You know,
I'll send it to you. You want me to send it to you when we're done and everything?
Yeah, when we're done. Yep, we're done, and I'll put it in.
Cool.
They'll get it in there for next week's show. So we're gonna get. Let me pull up my news booth transaction again. Boom. Back here in the news booth, and again, you guys, that's my new overlay for 2024. Holding it down. In the news booth, the school committee meeting is tonight, 7 o'clock. For the last 2 Tuesdays, they've been deadlocked in this vote for the vice chair. Got pretty emotional last week with Mr. Tony Rodriguez and the mayor. It was a crazy night. I'm hoping that there'll be something different in the outcome of tonight's meeting. I'm hoping that the school committee can get this done. As you guys know, it's got to be about the kids. We gotta get this done. Also, Raising Cane is supposed to open next week in Rhode Island. I had Raising Cane for the first time in Boston when we went to the Call of Duty Championships last year. That Raising Cane boneless chicken with that special whatever sauce they got is that was no joke.
Fire. It's fire.
No, that was no joke. Let's get into the legal booth. In the legal booth, as you guys were watching my Facebook page and stuff here last week, 3 blocks from my house, last Friday night, the Hibachi Supreme restaurant, that buffet every Friday night is packed with family and kids after basketball and karate and stuff. Packed. $12 all you can eat. Some imbecile walks in and shoots a guy dead. It's all over the news. The video's all over the news. Guess what, people? They did catch this knucklehead and the driver of the getaway car. So they will be held in connection for the guy that they shot dead last Friday night in the Hibachi. Look, our community, we black people, we got to do better. You know, this is minorities, black people, Cape Verdeans, we got to do better. Yeah, I get it about clout. I get it about gang stuff. I get it about all this back and forth stuff. But here's the thing, people. There comes a time, like in the 90s, when the Bloods and the Crips were going back and forth. And then these wars started spilling into barbershops and churches on Sunday because they knew that's where a brother was going to be. They knew a brother went to get a cut. And police departments across the country had to pull the Bloods and Crips in and say, hey, we know you guys got business to handle. We know this stuff is still going to happen, but we're going to make some places off limits. Churches, barbershops, places like these buffets. Look, yeah, you might have killed somebody that you had a problem with, but guess what? You didn't now ruin the lives of all these kids and families who were there that night eating dinner. And you walk in and just the video was just scary to see that this guy had one family to the right and one family to the left. We got to be better as a community. It's not nothing to laugh about. I see some people on Facebook. It's just not worth it. Also, the Buffalo gunman who was a racist who walked into a Walmart and shot and took people's lives. It looks like the feds are going to seek the death penalty. Now, I don't know about you, Mr. Phelps, but I'm torn on the death penalty. My grandmother and my mother were both religious people. You know, they brought me up that, you know, life is something to respect and to love. You shouldn't take a life with another life. But then part of me is like, yeah, but this dude, he plotted this all out. He planned this all out. He carried this all out, and not only did he carry it out, but he sent a message to other racist knuckleheads who look at him as a martyr now. So sometimes I feel like sometimes I get it. We shouldn't have the death penalty, but sometimes part of me is like, damn, but we can't let this dude live and then let him be this hero or this martyr, which, yes, if he does get the death penalty, he still could end up being a martyr, but this is where I'm torn. I'm going to ask your opinion on the death penalty on this one, because it's a tough debate for some people. Sometimes it depends on the crime.
Yeah, for me, with the death penalty, I guess I'm. This may sound harsh. I feel like death is sometimes just too easy. I'm like, yo, so now he gets the death penalty. Like, I'm like, I want this person to really be. It's like again, it sound horrible. I want them to rot in jail. Like, I want them to sit there and think about like come to a point where they're like, dang, I really messed up. I really messed up. And then, maybe get the snot beat out of them like a lot of times. This is where my
Sometimes,
mind goes.
yeah, sometimes you know what, you're right, and you're right. Sometimes we look at people throughout history, the Jeffrey Epsteins, the Whitey Bulgers. We see all these people from time who do heinous things, and sometimes that prison justice. I hate to say it, but sometimes that prison justice is more satisfying than seeing them take the lethal injection or whatever. Because I feel like prison justice is a jury of your peers, the people that's how. And it may seem weird of saying it that way, but if you're not fit to live and stay in jail with people who are criminals, you know what I'm saying? If they feel you're not right to stay with them, then they've decided your fate, and that's where I'm kind of like, you know what? Let them rot in jail, because eventually they're gonna catch him in the shower one day.
Exactly. And that's where I'm torn at, because on the other hand, am I for redemption and second chances? Yes. But then there's always that thing where it's like, until it happens to your family member or your kid, then it's like, ooh, now it's like, I want to see this person just be ripped to shreds, like tormented. And so, it's definitely a toss-up for me.
Yeah.
I do like I'm a fan of prison justice as well. Like,
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but I am. I hate to say it, but sometimes I find those stories satisfying. You know, when you hear them say, like Jeffrey Epstein, when you hear them say, well, the cameras were broken in that area for the night. and the officers fell asleep. And the officers fell asleep and were suspended because they fell asleep on shift.
We all have that in us, though. We all have that need for justice in us. Like, we want to see justice happen. Like, I want to see this person, you hear about what people do to kids and stuff. Like, I want to see this person get that same punishment.
Yeah, we had Father Gogan. Father Gogan was one who molested a ton of kids here in Massachusetts.
That's right.
He ended up in the jail cell with a person that he unfortunately that was molested, and that person killed him. And I know a lot of people was like, shoot, that's karma. That's how sometimes stuff plays out.
That's justice. So, it's funny. In I can't remember where it's at. In the Bible, somewhere, Old Testament, can't remember where it's at, but there were these laws that were given. They're like, if a person like kills someone or accidentally kills someone, a family member, like they would have to flee to another place, because they know that family member was about to get some things done. So it's like they had to flee. And justice will happen in its time. And so
and I love it. I love it. Also in the legal booth, the judge for the feds has now blocked the sale of Spirit to JetBlue. If you guys didn't know, Spirit is hurting. Spirit is dying. JetBlue is going to buy them up for $3.8 billion. Now, Facebook and social media is full of all these horror stories from people who've flown Spirit and app. I don't think I've ever heard one good review about Spirit. The feds have come in and blocked the sale, not because it's creating a monopoly and it would make JetBlue the fifth biggest airline. They're saying that Spirit is actually a competitor that can keep JetBlue's prices cheap. So they didn't want to see Spirit be canceled out and have JetBlue up their prices, because now they no longer have that cheaper, flight. My feeling is that, well, to be honest, I don't think anybody liked Spirit or was, everything I've heard was bad about Spirit.
That's because you're going to be flying in Spirit. That's what happened. You're gonna be a spirit flying back. Now, I've heard lots of bad reviews about Spirit, man.
Man, I've had people who've been warned and told weeks before they were supposed to go. Man, I'm thinking about flying Spirit. It's cheap, and I've had people tell people, man, don't. But yo, it's $40. Man. Then 3 weeks later, you see that same person, like, man, I should have listened to you.
And you know what's crazy about Spirit? Like the flight be $40, but then they upcharge you for everything. We're gonna charge you to put that seatbelt on, sir. What? It's like $50 for a seat. Because they got you. You gotta do it.
A cup of water is $8.
Right. They give you the peanuts first.
Yeah, exactly. So for those who didn't know, yeah, the feds blocked the sale. Let's see what happens here. I'm sure JetBlue is gonna fight it. Let's get into the entertainment booth. In the entertainment booth, Donnie Simpson, the Green-Eyed Bandit, the original Green-Eyed Bandit from BET Soul from back in the day, who started out in radio. He's retiring. He's signing off from Magic 102 for his final time this Friday. Donnie Simpson has been involved with black music videos, the beginning of BET. Donnie Simpson, my hat's off to you. Big applause for doing it for business. You supported a lot of artists coming up. R&B. R&B would not be where it was in the 90s if it wasn't for Donnie Simpson and Video Soul. Because at that time, MTV wasn't playing black people on MTV. They weren't playing black people at that time. And BET was killing it. So big ups to Donnie Simpson. I love it. I'd love to see where he's going after this. In the MCU, I've been talking about this on this show. I don't know why this is a big surprise. Big story is Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, the characters of Daredevil, are going to return to Daredevil Born Again. I told everybody way back in 2017 when the MCU shows ended on Netflix and Disney Plus started and they didn't renew the contract with Netflix. I told everybody, I said, they're not going anywhere. Them shows are going to be on Disney Plus when they get them back. And MCU kept everybody who was involved with all these shows all tight-lipped. Everybody from John Penthal, from The Punisher, and all these people, Luke Cage, all of them were kept on a quiet because they knew they were all coming back. So all these shows are all coming back to Disney Plus. The Daredevil, Luke Cage is coming back. Jessica Jones is. All these people are all coming back. The only one that hasn't signed and has said if he'd be back is Iron Fist, because the guy who played Iron Fist, because a lot of people, I guess, they didn't like him on the set. They didn't like him at all on the Defenders, so they may have to recast that. But I remember the actor Mike Coulter, who plays Luke Cage, who's on Evil, the show Evil. I remember they asked him, and he was real tight-lipped about coming back to play Luke Cage because, you know, he was real quiet. I'm like, they're coming back. They're all coming back. Everybody was saying they're not going to be on Disney because Disney is already promised they were going to be such and such program. I'm like, they're lying. They're going to change it eventually. And they did. They changed it. They put a little pin number in. So now they've got these TVMA shows like Echo that just debuted last week. Echo debuted. That's TVMA. You got to put the pin code in order to see it. And that show's been fire. And for you, you know, like we said, this sync licensing and stuff, man.
Yeah.
If you could get on the MCU, what would you be like if you could get your music in the MCU movie or show?
Oh man, hallelujah! If that would happen, Lord, make it happen. Nah, that would be.
There's a good chance.
Yes, I think it's a great chance. I'm a big dreamer, and I think anything is possible. And with all these different shows coming out and all the different relationships you build, you're always just one person away or one project away from it happening. Yeah. And it's
with
a
all
game
these
of
Star
patience.
Wars shows on there. They got all these new Star Wars shows, and like I said, you got people again thinking outside the box. Somebody here is, you know, he might be sitting here producing rap music, but then he realizes that there's sync licensing. Let me dabble into some of this Star Wars type music, you know. And now a producer, go ahead. I see you.
I was gonna say with sync licensing, you kept saying thinking outside the box and everything. You never know who you're sitting next to when you're working with somebody. Because you never know who the next person is going to be that's going to open up an agency, or they're going to be working with somebody. And because you have a relationship with them, They'd be like, yo, let me pull you in on this project, man. I'm working with so and so. So it's great to just be keep the relationships, be cool. If you're an a-hole in the sync community world, it's a small, big community. Word gets around
Yes,
quickly.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like one of them. It's like one of these things where I don't need you messing up my bag.
exactly. And I love the MCU universe because to me, it's like I learned a lot from them because they were very patient with how they rolled out all the Avengers movies, and then once they connected everything, and then Disney Plus, and then they said we're going to keep on creating and then tie in these TV shows to make new movies. I was like, this is genius. It's like it's a game of patience. It's a marathon, and I think when you play the game like it's a marathon, oh, you have way more chance for success rather than going to just McDonald's for a quick meal.
Right.
Treat it like a marathon.
Crazy stuff. What else do I got in here? Also, for those who've been watching my show, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Godzilla Minus One has broken the all-time Japanese movie record in the U.S. and in Canada. It is made now over $100 million, I think we're at, and I think it's a crazy amount worldwide, but Godzilla Minus One, the highest grossing Japanese movie of all time. Like I said, people, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. The movie was insane. Here's how insane it was. The Oscars is coming, and it's already picking up awards. This past weekend was the Seattle Film Critics Society Award. Guess what, people? At this award show, Godzilla Minus One took home Best International Film. I'm telling you, this is a no joke of a movie, people. It also took home Best Visual Effects, which it is nominated for to try to be in the Academy Awards. It's also being nodded to try to be on that list for the Academy Awards for Best Film. And it also took Villain of the Year. Godzilla is Villain of the Year at the Seattle Film. So that means I'm pretty sure Godzilla is going to take that home for the MTV Awards this year. I've seen it. I want to see it again and again and again and again. That's how perfect it is. I'm actually thinking about doing a show just to kind of talk about it because it was so damn good. That I went to this movie and I'm a big Godzilla fan. And I'll tell you, when I walked out of there, I was like, God, dog, I was not expecting that for a film. And I was like, damn. In the sports booth, Bill Belichick has been released. He's done here. I already went live about this, so I'm not even going to stress on Bill Belichick. Gerard Mayo, the next day, was hired as a replacement. And what did I tell people on this show last week? I said the first thing they're going to want a head coach that's social media friendly and can come out with some type of social media story, because Bill Belichick wasn't about the social media. He didn't do anything on social media. He didn't want nothing on social media. The very next day after Gerard Mayo was announced, guess what? Pops up on social media. Bam! Chantel, his wife, popped up. Everybody's like, look, y'all think Gerard Mayo? They're like, he's handling business at home because here's his wife. And his wife is on social media, Chantel. Oh, we're going to see a lot of Chantel. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of Chantel on social media. She's probably going to be ending up on the next one of them reality wives shows. I'm pretty sure they was calling her right away. Bill Belichick's sons have been offered the opportunity to return to the Patriots. I hear a lot of people saying this and that. Here's the question. Bill Belichick's sons are older. There comes a time, like with my two boys, when my two boys got older, and there came that moment where my two sons, I would always take them to the barbershop with me to get the barbershop. And then one day my two boys said, Dad, I hate to break it to you, but we got our own barber that we like, and we want to go to our own barber. And I almost shed a tear. I'm not going to lie. When your boys become old enough to go to their own barber that they feel comfortable and who they can talk to and relate to, that's what it's about. Bill Belichick's two sons are at that point right now. Do they want to go with him to wherever he ends up, possibly Atlanta or Dallas? Or do they want to say, hey, Dad, it's time for us to branch out on our own. I think we're going to stay here with Gerard and hold down this defense, because the defense was on point for the Patriots this season. The problem was that you lost Matt Judon and Christian Gonzalez for the season. And Christian Gonzalez would probably have been the rookie of the year defensively. He was on a path. He was already leading the league in interceptions by week 4 when he got injured for the season. So this defense with Matt Judon and Christian Gonzalez in place is a scary defense. I'd like to see the Belichick sons stay. The question here is, are they going to remain loyal to their dad and leave with their dad? Or will they stay here? As you guys saw at the beginning of the show, we had some surprises this weekend. 2 of the biggest fan bases lost on the road and at home. Dallas Cowboys, once again. You got any Dallas Cowboy fans, Nick?
Yeah, my brother's a huge Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, I can only imagine the calls this weekend. Did you check on him?
Make fun of him all. He didn't even answer his phone.
Write the voicemail. You said that mad serious too. You said
Done. You know, it puts a strain on relationships.
He said my brother's a fan. He didn't even answer the phone. I'm sure he was. He probably was contemplating banging out of work the next day and everything.
Right? Everybody gonna be talking.
Because you know he was talking it up Friday when he left work. You know the Cowboys fans on Friday, when they left work Friday, they was probably like, let's go! We got this, them boys!
Got the jersey on, even the helmets on.
Oh God, but there's the list right there. Since 1996, there is their record for the playoffs. They've made it to the playoffs since 1996 and 1 or more done. Dallas Cowboy fans. And then the Eagles, my son's team, they got smoked in Tampa Bay. Jason Kelsey says it's a wrap. He's going to retire. The official announcement has not been made yet, but Jason Kelsey is going to retire. I heard a lot of people saying take Travis with you because everybody's upset about seeing Taylor Swift at all these games, and I am too. I'm just tired of it. But here's the look, people. This weekend coming up, Green Bay is going off to San Fran. I like San Fran. Tampa Bay, who beat them Eagles, they're going on to take the Detroit Lions. I don't think Tampa Bay gets past them Lions. And then the Texans are going up to face Lamar Jackson, who I think he's in Super Bowl mode. I think Lamar Jackson is ready to take it all the way. I like Baltimore in that AFC Championship game. Kansas City, if this game was in Kansas City, I like Kansas City, but unfortunately, Kansas City got to go to Buffalo. And I think I got to take Buffalo on that one. Who you liking this weekend, man? Who's your thoughts on? Are you covering NFL? Are you watching NFL?
I'm not really a big NFL fan. My son is. But I'm just a trash talker. I don't even really have a team, honestly. I just like it for the entertainment.
So like you said, you just wanted to call your brother, but he didn't answer.
Yeah, I'm just a trash talker. Once I know who your team is, I'm an a-hole like that. Nick, you don't even have a team, but I know you do.
That's a good one too, because you can just sit back and look at all the carnage and just watch over it. Gage Goldberg, the son of Bill Goldberg, the wrestler, he is committed to Colorado. He's going to be playing for Deion Sanders. He's a middle linebacker next year. He'll just be a freshman though. He's really going to have to press to get some starting time. The key here is that the Colorado Buffaloes are making big moves. They got some crazy players coming in, crazy coaches coming in. Somebody had said about what about getting Bill Goldberg on that linebacker staff? I don't know. They already got Warren Sapp coming in there. They've got some big names coming, but I'm pretty sure we'll see Goldberg on the sideline. Also, let's get into the Biden bombshells. Chris Christie drops out of the presidential race before the Iowa caucuses. That's one more down for the GOP. Then after the Iowa caucuses, Vivek Ramaswamy, he dropped out of the race. That leaves Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, and Mr. Ron DeSantis, who I've been saying that's who the GOP wants. That's who they're looking for. But here's the problem. Donald Trump won the Iowa caucuses, and those other two people fell into that. The key here is that I've said it on the show. It's not about the Democrats and Republicans. Right now, the Republicans are in the fight for their lives to find their identity. And the question is going to be: is the GOP going to choose Trump? Because they don't really want Trump. They never wanted Trump from day one. They really want DeSantis to be that guy. Nikki Haley and Trump have been going back and forth. It's going to be interesting, people. That GOP race is the one to watch before we get into where it's at, because the GOP is about to change. And like I said before, people, if the GOP picks DeSantis, Trump is going to burn that down. He's going to burn it down. He's going to turn on everybody. It's going to be ugly. And also, 2 Navy SEALs are missing after a mission off the Somalia coast to secure some weapons and some weapon parts and some bomb pieces. These 2 Navy SEALs are missing. One of the things I got to tell the people on Facebook and social media: stop pushing shit for a narrative. And I'm going to swear there because it's very important to me. Stop using stuff and pushing stuff as a narrative. I see a lot of people saying, well, Joe Biden hasn't come on TV and mentioned these Navy SEALs yet, blah, blah, blah. Look, people, first of all, the Navy SEALs have not been... It's not been said if they're dead or not yet. They're still searching. They haven't found them. They're missing. So Joe Biden is not going to come on TV and say anything about 2 missing Navy SEALs, number one. Number two, Navy SEALs don't like that type of being put up here. If they do find these Navy SEALs, and if they did lose their lives, it will get mentioned. It will get mentioned at the State of the Union, where a president speaks and pays his respects to somebody who dies in service. It usually happens in the State of the Union. He's not going to come on TV and drag the family up front on TV and say, we're sorry. So people, with your narratives, stop it. Stop it. I've been following politics forever. There is a time and place for the president to address the loss of lives of somebody in battle. Okay? Stop all this crazy stuff, because then you got all these people believing it, and then they're all chiming in, and it's like, stop it. The State of the Union will be when he'll address this, if they are found that they're deceased. If they're deceased, it will happen at the next State of the Union. He'll have the family there. They'll give their standing ovation for them giving their lives. They'll present those families with their flags, and let's leave it at the way that it's done. That's the proper place for that to be done. And I'm going to leave it at that. Nick, anything you want to add to that before we get out of here?
No. Politics like religion, so I just keep my mouth shut.
I told this dude before we came on here, I said, don't fake the funk, be honest, be true. People respect you more, because when you come on, if you try to talk some stuff you don't know about, people are going to be in the chat. People will be right in the chat, too. They'll be like, yo, he don't know what you're talking about.
I am a man to say, listen, I don't know enough to speak on it, but I do like what you said about there are a lot of narratives out there. So you got to do your own research and, follow.
And it's crazy too, because one of the narratives that I took a lot of heat for here was Black Lives Matter. And and I grew up in an era of civil rights. I was one of the first kids bused to white schools in Boston here. So I know all about all this. But the thing is that when Black Lives Matters came out, I was big on the message that it was sending. I loved it. But there was something about the certain chapters that were popping up and saying that they were for this across the country. And I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. And it's because even during COVID, we had our own community do some nasty stuff with fake insurance and things. And 3 years later, after the start of Black Lives Matter, what happened? In California, 3 of the leaders was taking that money. They was living with people's money lavishly, bought mansions and all these cars. And here they were. Here you thought you was giving to these people who were saying Black Lives Matter. Here in Rhode Island, down in Rhode Island, it was the same thing. Here in Boston, there were a couple of members of Black Lives Matter groups here. They was taking money and they was buying. And again, it's our own community and our own people.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah.
See, for me, I grew up in Watts, so I grew up in the hood, and I seen a lot of stuff at an early age. And I was begging for a movement to come out, when a young person gets shot because of gun violence. So for me, with the Black Lives Matter movement, like you said, I liked the message, but then I was like, yo, can we get to marching in the hood, in these communities, against also like this violence and thing that's happening? And let's talk about other issues in the community that's happening, because there's a lot of stuff going on, rather when a white cop kills a black dude, like now we want to come up in arms and march. I'm like, no, we need it now. Even before this happens, we need this over here right now.
So here's a funny thing. I took a beating. I took a beating on social media here in the Brockton area because when this whole thing happened and the Black Lives Matter, they had a meeting. The community got together and they took off their Nikes in unity and blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, we can take off our Nikes now, but y'all couldn't take your Nikes off when these kids were killing each other in the street and stealing the Nikes off their dead feet, but no one wanted to come together then. And then I became this, I was a hypocrite. No, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm just telling you like it is. What makes it different
facts.
now? 13-year-old kid shot with no shoes on his feet because somebody stole his J's off him. Why weren't we sitting in the park 100 deep for that?
That's been my whole point the whole time. I remember walking to school, getting my butt kicked because I was from the wrong neighborhood. Walking to school, getting an interview. Where you from? On Bang. Where you stay at? Wow, man, now I'm caught up. Like,
right.
I would catch beatdowns. And so I still have, to this day, I still get messages, or I'll see on Facebook, so-and-so died, so-and-so's in jail. I'm like, man, I wish we could have a movement come together and like really pour some positive energy into the community. And let's talk about these things that's going on, rather than, like you said, okay, we're taking our Nikes off, but exactly like you said, yo, people dying, getting robbed for their Nikes. So can we get a march going on like now to stop some of these things and talk about it and expose it? So that was my whole problem with the movement.
Right. So let's get into my outro banners, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show, hanging out with me. These hats, the beanies, they're sold out. I know I got to get more beanies. Everybody's been asking me for them. I got to thank MMA fighter from the UFC, Peter Barrett up there. The guys whose shows I produce, Happy Hour with Lito, those guys. Also, all the shows I produce, Drafting the Circuits, Oscar Mike Radio, Matty C Sports for You and Me, Happy Hour with Lito Podcast, Fubar Studios, Homeland Heroes, and my artist, Deanna Marie. Those are the shows. Also, the Brockton Democratic City invites you to celebrating our elected Democratic leaders event, which takes place January 18th, 6:30, Firefighters Hall, 80s Perkins Ave. Also, the African American Association of Brockton presents The Black History is Everyone's History, February 10th at the New Heights Charter School. Also, the Concert Table, Cool Table series takes place in New York. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because Shaw Elemental, Sean Wick, you see him on my page, he's performing, but he's also there with JB, aka Dirty Moses. Sunday, the Central America All Black event takes place via, she's got her coffee there. That takes place this Sunday. New England National Baseball takes off in Brockton in May. Tickets are on sale. They're signing players. Season tickets are available, so make sure you jump on there. The 2024 Influencer Awards takes place May 18th in Providence. My artist, Vianna Marie, is nominated for Best Female Hip Hop Artist. We will definitely be in the house. Ride Bat buses for free December 1st to May 31st. I've been doing it back and forth to work to Logan. It is a great bargain. Please, please, please take advantage of that. And Platinum City Gaming, 75-cent wings every NFL football game. We only got a couple of weeks left, people. A couple of weeks left, and then the season is pretty much over. So again, Nick Phelps, man, once again, tell them how they can reach you and follow you, man, before we get out of here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Mr. Phelps, Music and Life Mindset. You can look both those up on IG. Go to musicandlifemindset.com. Yeah, that's how you can follow me. that's where all my stuff is.
Good stuff. And I hope Cinder Share gets a chance to see this show. She's the one that put us together. Her and Son and Simmons.
Yeah.
Thank you
Cinder-
very much.
You go by Cinder Shine. Cinder Shine. Oh,
Yes.
also we have the album dropping January 26th. It's called Shine Together and Rise. Shine Together and Rise, January
I gotta check. I
26th.
can't wait to hear this. I gotta
Yeah,
definitely
it's
put that
gonna
in
be
my
cool.
iPod. January
Yeah.
26th. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I got to thank Bat Bus Union, the Drivers Union, Alligator Transit Union, for dropping their response to Richard Ripley being on this show last week. And again, people, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for hanging out with me. And you know what? We're at 8:17, went a little bit over. I'm going to have SpongeBob do me a favor. SpongeBob, take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
To the booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinista1 production hosted by Sinista1.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, this on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.